this bill will not exclude somebody from running who decides to raise their own money.
Correct.
So what are the advantages of doing this?
The reality is you've seen, again, like I said, both Maine and Connecticut have these programs in place, and they've been very successful and very effective. Connecticut established their program after they had experienced a large corruption scandal in their state as well. And the benefit is you allow candidates at least the opportunity to pick a different route. Over 70% of the Maine legislature, Democratic legislators, pick the publicly financed election route. And so what happens is you have a ton of legislators in the building who are not beholden to their private donors. They're not responding to the needs and whims of these wealthy individuals or PACs or whatever the case might be. They recognize that they're getting their campaign funds from the state, which is a reaction of their support within their constituents, right? So and that's the point of why making sure that the candidates who participate in their program have enough money to win. We're not just trying to, yell at those folks who participate in a private program. We need to make it enticing for them. We want to make it the better, easier route to win is through this system so that they're no longer required to go and beg for money from these private folks.
Well, but let's talk about that for a little bit, because, I agree with you that wholeheartedly that we unfortunately have gotten to the situation where all too often money seems to dominate the political conversation. I remember when I was first starting out in politics, we would have a fundraiser and keep it as cheap as possible because the idea was to get as many people in the room as possible. And whereas today, unfortunately, my sense is that what you want is, few people giving large amounts of money because it's a lot easier and a lot less expensive, and all the various reasons. So it seems like money has become much more important. So I agree with the concept, but I have a hard time getting past the idea that there's escape clauses in the system. For example, what impact, based on your research and across the country, has the idea of publicly financing elections have regarding the PACs that are in many respects are totally unregulated money coming into elections? So how does all of that fit together? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so I don't know all of the intimate details regarding the PAC influence. A lot of these are just the direct one-on-ones, right? The candidate contributions. If PACs are out there spending money independently, which is what they have to do, it has to be independent. This bill doesn't specifically address that. Currently, fortunately, we don't have, there is PAC influence, and obviously that can and should be addressed. This is not a silver bullet for everything, but the reality is the PACs currently in Hawaii aren't overwhelming the candidate system as is. Almost all of the campaign expenditures come from candidate committees, which is what this is, right? So hopefully, like we've seen in Maine and Connecticut, this will be a good push, and you'll see a lot more diversity of candidates, a lot of candidates coming from different backgrounds who otherwise couldn't run. And then we'll see a lot better results in the legislature. If the super PAC situation, continues begins to be a big issue, obviously we can try to take some steps to address that then. But this is absolutely step one, dealing with the at least initial private donor issue that's dominating the system now.